Having perforated the legs, it stands. It sounds like a kohen. Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 113. Tipiṭaka, part 51, in which I will be reciting Pācittiya, 16, and maybe 17. We'll see how it goes. If this is the first time you have ever seen my face, go ahead and click here. That will take you to the Tipiṭaka playlist, and you can start with episode 1. Our special guest today, Amitabha, in red, as he is often depicted, especially in Vajrayana Buddhism. So Amitabha came around in Mahayana Buddhism, and I think he's depicted as red in Vajrayana Buddhism, most specifically with the Dhyani Buddhas, the wisdom Buddhas. But yesterday we watched Xuanzang, and Amitabha was a guest, this Amitabha over here. And the movie was Chinese. So here we have a Chinese looking, does he look Chinese? Sometimes when they make Lord Buddha in China, just out of habit, because they're used to seeing those features, they make him look a little bit Chinese. So I think this is made in China anyway. So in honor of yesterday's movie, or the day before, when was that? We'll have him be our special guest today. If you have seen my face before, but you did not watch episode 112, in which I reviewed and reacted to that movie, I would recommend you do yourself a favor and click here and at least watch the beginning. You know, it's an hour and 15 minutes long. The first 10 minutes or so, I talk about the movie, and then the movie is an hour. The actual movie is 2 hours, but I cut it down to an hour. I meant to cut it down to 20 minutes, but it ended up being an hour. And then I talk a little bit at the end for 5 minutes. It's worth checking out. But anyway, let's bring the dial back to pre-sectarian, early Theravada Buddhism, which is what we're focusing on for these months, possibly years. And then eventually we will start to learn about Amitabha, for example, who is a bodhisattva, which is more of a Mahayana concept. There's only one bodhisattva that is recognized by Theravada Buddhism, and that is Maitreya. But in pre-sectarian early Buddhism, they had not yet developed the concept of bodhisattvas. So anyway, is there anything else? Nothing I can think of. So without further ado, let's find out what the 16th rule of expiation is for the early Buddhist monks in Lord Buddha's order. Expiation, Pācittiya, 16. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now, at that time, the group of 6 monks, everyone remember the group of 6 monks? Very naughty monks. All right, the group of 6 monks took possession of the best sleeping places. The monks who were elders turned them away, Then it occurred to the group of 6 monks, quote, "What now if we, by some stratagem, should spend the rainy season in this very place?" End quote. Then the group of 6 monks, encroaching upon, parentheses, the space intended for, and parentheses, monks who were elders, lay down in the sleeping places, saying, quote, "He for whom it becomes too crowded may depart." End quote. Those who were modest monks, spread it about, saying, quote, "How can the group of 6 monks lie down in sleeping places, encroaching upon, parentheses, the space intended for, and parentheses, monks who are elders?" End quote. Then these monks told this matter to the Lord. "Is it true, as is said, that you, monks, lay down in sleeping places, intended for monks who are elders?" End quote. "It is true, Lord," they all replied in unison. The enlightened one, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, "How can you, foolish men, lie down in sleeping places, encroaching upon, parentheses, the space intended for, end parentheses, monks who are elders? It is not, foolish men, for pleasing those who are not, yet in parentheses, pleased, And thus, monks, this rule of training should be set forth. Whatever monk should lie down in a sleeping place in a dwelling belonging to the order, knowing that he is encroaching upon, parentheses, the space intended for, end parentheses, a monk arrived first, saying, quote within quotes, he for whom it becomes too crowded may depart, end quote within quotes, doing it for just this object, not for another, there is an offense of expiation, end quote. Whatever means, in the next episode we'll do the flashback, remind us what whatever means. Monk means, we basically know what monk means, but again, next episode we'll flash back to the definition they gave at the beginning of the first book. See, we're more than halfway through the second book, so sometimes 3 dots refers to something a book and a half ago, or no doubt longer. Anyway, that's how they roll over at the Pali Text Society. By the way, the other day, sorry, just a little aside, I wrote to the Pali Text Society, and I let them know, I asked, because I told a friend of mine that I had all the Buddhaghosa commentaries, and he told me, oh, do you have such and such? Starts with a V. I'm not good with remembering things that aren't English, but the way of purity, or the path of purity, is its translation. And so I searched through all my, this is Tipiṭaka here, and back behind the microphone, and down here are the commentaries of Buddhaghosa and a few other 6th century Common Era Theravada Buddhist philosophers and scholars. And I looked through all of them, and it wasn't there. So I wrote to the Pali Text Society, and I said, hey, is this available? Or maybe is it included in one of the other books? And they didn't reply. And so about 3.5 weeks later, I wrote, hey, just following up on my email from May 28th, just sort of politely, saying, hey, no response. So I sent a new, fresh email rather than replying to the thread, and, just directly asked, can I purchase this book? And so then I got to thinking, what if they are watching my series over there in London at the Pali Text Society, and they don't like what I'm saying? This is all public domain, so it wouldn't be that kind of issue, but maybe they don't like my little sly comments about their translators of your, and, I do speak great praise for them. I hope that people are more aware than they were before of their existence, and maybe even purchasing some of these books for themselves as a result of seeing this, perhaps. But yeah, I got to being paranoid, and so I was thinking that I would come on here and say, hey, if you guys are watching this and that's why you're not getting back to me, please get back to me. But if you're not watching this, then you won't see this.
That's a catch-22.
It certainly is, Bo. It certainly is. But the story has a happy ending because they did eventually write to me, but it was from a different email address. And they said, hey, Gmail has been blocking emails. Sorry, we didn't get back to you. We never got the message. Yes, we're sending you the book. They already have, they said, do you want us to send you the book? Just say yes, and we'll send it to you. I'm like, I'm in India, right? Yes. You got to send it in my wife's name because of customs. Yes. And you already have my credit card information, everything. Yeah, just say yes, and we'll send it to you in India in your wife's name at the end. And like, yes. And so they said, okay, we're sending it to you. I'm like, wow, I'm part of a society. I didn't mean to be, but there was a 20% discount if you joined the society. So I said, okay, I'll join for 1 year. But I have to admit, I might renew my membership when it comes time to do that. Okay, shall I get back to the reading? Sorry about that, guys. Guy's gender neutral, by the way. Okay. He knows, a dwelling belonging to the order means it comes to be given to the order, handed over to it. He knows means he knows, thinking. He is an old man, he knows, thinking. He is an ill man, he knows, thinking. It was given to the order. Encroaching upon means forcing a way into. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It really does mean that. Should lie down in a sleeping place means if entering or departing, he spreads a sleeping place or has one spread in the precincts of a couch or a chair, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he sits down on it or lies down on it, there is an offense of expiation. Cheers. Doing it for just this object, not for another, means there comes to be no other object whatever for which to lie down, encroaching in a sleeping place. If he thinks that it belongs to the order when it belongs to the order, and in parentheses, encroaching lies down, there is an offense of expiation. If he is in doubt as to whether it belongs to the order, and in parentheses, encroaching lies down, there is an offense of expiation. If he thinks that it belongs to an individual, when it belongs to the order, and in parentheses, encroaching lies down, there's an offense of expiation. If entering or departing, setting aside the precincts of a couch or chair, he spreads a sleeping place or causes one to be spread, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he sits down on it or lies down on it, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he spreads a sleeping place or causes one to be spread in the precincts of a dwelling place, or in an assembly room, or in a hut, or at the foot of a tree, or in the open air, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he sits down on it or lies down on it, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that it belongs to the order when it belongs to an individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he is in doubt as to whether it belongs to an individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that it belongs to an individual when it belongs to an individual, but, in parentheses, to another individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If it belongs to the individual himself, there is no offense. There is no offense if an ill man enters, if one pressed by cold or by heat enters, if there are accidents, if he is mad, if he is the first wrongdoer. The sixth of the second set of 10 expiations, so the 16th. All right, so yeah, if someone is just come in from the cold, they're about to experience hypothermia, and there's a sleeping place and there's other people and he just kind of lays down his mat and just passes out right there, that's fine. If he's oppressed by 48-degree heat, if you're not American, you know what I'm talking about, then he comes in and just passes out on the ground, and it's someone else's space. It belongs to the order, and he just lays his mat and sleeps for 10 hours. That's understandable. That's fine. There's no offense. But if it's a nice day, a temperate day, and he comes in and he's like, I like these sleeping quarters better than the other option that he has, apparently. So there you have it. That's pretty basic stuff, right? Shall we find out what number 17 is? Let's do it. At one time, the enlightened one. Hey, let's get rid of these guys for now. We don't know if they're going to be the topic of this next one, so let's assume they're not. Let's hope they're not, because these guys, I swear. All right. At one time, the enlightened one, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. At that time, the group of 17 monks, excuse me, Sir Rhinoceros, would you mind playing the role for today of the group of 17 monks? No, you don't mind, or no, that you'll do it? Okay, good. So everyone meet the group of 17 monks. At that time, the group of 17 monks were repairing a large dwelling place in the neighborhood, thinking, quote, we will spend the rains here, end quote. The group of 6 monks saw the group of 17 monks as they were repairing the dwelling place, and seeing them, they said, quote, Your Reverences, this group of 17 monks are repairing the dwelling place. Come, we will turn them away, end quote. Some spoke thus, wait, Your Reverences, until they have repaired it. When it is repaired, we will turn them away. Oh, bastards, end quote. Then the group of 6 monks said to the group of 17 monks, quote, Go away, Your Reverences. The dwelling place belongs to us, end quote. Quote, Your Reverences, should not this have been explained before, and we would have repaired another, end quote. Quote, Your Reverences, does not the dwelling place belong to the order? End quote. Quote, Yes, Your Reverences, the dwelling place belongs to the order. End quote. Quote, Go away, Your Reverences. The dwelling place belongs to us. End quote. Quote, Your Reverences, the dwelling place is big. You stay and we too will stay. End quote. Quote, Go away, Your Reverences. The dwelling place belongs to us. End quote. And angry, displeased, taking them by the throat, they threw them out. These being thrown out wept. Monks said, parentheses, to them, end parentheses, Why do you, Your Reverences, weep? Quote, Your Reverences, this group of 6 monks, angry, displeased, threw us out of a dwelling place belonging to the order, end quote. Those who were modest monks, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, How can this group of 6 monks, angry, displeased, throw out monks from a dwelling place belonging to the order? Then these monks told this matter to the Lord. Quote, Is it true, as is said, monks, that you, angry and displeased, 3 dots to the order, end quote? It is true, Lord. You guys need to work on your harmonies a little bit. The enlightened one, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, How can you, foolish men, angry, 3 dots, belonging to the order, foolish men? It is not for pleasing those who are not yet, in parentheses, pleased, 3 dots. And thus, monks, this rule of training should be set forth. Whatever monk, angry, displeased, should throw out a monk or cause him to be thrown out from a dwelling place belonging to the order, there is an offense of expiation. Go on. All right. Whatever means, 3 dots. Monk means, 3 dots. Angry, displeased means dissatisfied, the mind worsened, stubborn. A dwelling place belonging to the order means it comes to be given to the order, handed over to it. Should throw out means if taking, parentheses him, close parentheses, in the room, he throws him out onto the veranda, pamukam, house front. Okay, so pamukam is Pali, veranda is like Old English, and house front is modern English, basically. There is an offense of expiation. If taking him on the veranda, I'm going to start calling house fronts the veranda. And people will be like, what the hell is wrong with you? He throws him outside, there is an offense of expiation. If with one effort he makes him pass through many doors, there is an offense of expiation. Should cause him to be thrown out means if he commands another, there is an offense of wrongdoing. When once commanded, if he makes him pass through many doors, there is an offense of expiation. If he thinks that it belongs to the order, when it belongs to the order, and in parentheses, angry, displeased, throws him out or causes him to be thrown out, there is an offense of expiation. If he is in doubt as to whether it belongs to the order, and in parentheses, angry, 3 dots, causes him to be thrown out, there is an offense of expiation. If he thinks that it belongs to an individual, when it belongs to the order, and in parentheses, angry, 3 dots, to be thrown out, there is an offense of expiation. If he throws out or causes his requisites to be thrown out, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he throws, parentheses, a monk, and parentheses, out, or causes, parentheses, him, and parentheses, to be thrown out from the precincts of a dwelling place, or from an assembly room, or from a hut, or from the foot of a tree, or from the open air, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he throws out or causes his requisites to be thrown out, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he throws out or causes one who is not ordained to be thrown out from a dwelling place, or from the precincts of a dwelling place, 3 dots, or from the open air, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he throws out or causes his requisites to be thrown out, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that it belongs to the order when it belongs to an individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he is doubtful as to whether it belongs to an individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that it belongs to an individual when it belongs to an individual, but, in parentheses, to another individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If it belongs to the individual himself, there is no offense. You can kick someone out of your own house. Right? There is no offense if he throws out or causes one who is not scrupulous to be thrown out. Loophole! If he throws out or causes his requisites to be thrown out, if he throws out or causes to be thrown out one who is mad, if he throws out or causes his requisites to be thrown out, what? If he throws out or causes to be thrown out one who makes strife, one who makes quarrels, one who makes contention, one who makes brawls, one who makes disputes in the order, if he throws out or causes his requisites to be thrown out, if he throws out or causes to be thrown out a novice, or one who shares a cell, or one who is not proceeding fitly, na samavatanta means one who is not proceeding fitly. If he throws out or causes his requisites to be thrown out, if he is mad, if he is the first wrongdoer. So, if you start a fight with someone, and they fight back, you can throw them out and say that they were being contentious. That's the loophole there. Call me the loophole finder. That's what studying this is for, right? Finding the loopholes? No. Expiation. Pācittiya. 18. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, 2 monks, parentheses, were, close parentheses, in a lofty cell with an upper part, in a dwelling place belonging to the order. One lived below, one above. The monk above sat down suddenly on a couch with removable feet. The foot of the couch, falling off, hit the lower monk in the head. And, in parentheses, this monk uttered a cry of distress. Monks, running up, said to this monk, quote, "Why do you, your reverence, utter a cry of distress?" End quote. Then that monk told this matter to the monks. Those who were modest monks, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, "How can a monk in a lofty cell with an upper part, in a dwelling place belonging to the order, sit down suddenly on a couch with removable feet? Ah, that's the crime." End quote. Then these monks told this matter to the Lord, and 3 dots. Quote, "Is it true, as is said, that you, monk, in a lofty cell with an upper part, in a dwelling place belonging to the order, sat down suddenly on a couch with removable feet?" End quote. 3 dots. Presumably he said, "It is true, Lord." It must be in the dots. Sometimes things get lost in the dots. Quote, 3 dots. "It is not, foolish men, for pleasing those who are not yet in parentheses pleased." 3 dots. "And thus, monks, this rule of training should be set forth. Whatever monk in a lofty cell with an upper part, in a dwelling place belonging to the order, should sit down or lie down on a couch or chair with removable feet, there is an offense of expiation." End quote. All right. I mean, it'll prevent issues like this from happening, I suppose, right? Whatever means 3 dots, monk means 3 dots. Next time, I promise, we'll review that. Dwelling place belonging to the order means it comes to be given to the order, handed over to it. Lofty cell means it does not touch the head of a man of medium height. That's lofty. All right. Still like that in parts of India. Couch with removable feet means having perforated the legs, it stands. It sounds like a kohen. Kohen? That's, okay. Chair with removable feet means having perforated the legs, it stands. Should sit down on means if he sits down on it, there is an offense of expiation. Sound of one hand clapping? No, not so much. Should lie down on means if he lies down on it, there is an offense of expiation. Quickly, right? That's the issue. If he thinks that it belongs to the order, when it belongs to the order, and, in parentheses, sits down on or lies down on a couch or a chair with removable feet. Can you be a little noisier out there, please? It's not distracting enough. And sits down on or lies down on a couch or a chair with removable feet in a lofty cell with an upper part, there is an offense of expiation. Remember this. This is important to your Buddhist path. This will come up. Okay. If he is in doubt as to whether it belongs to the order, I mean, if you get stuck in like a time warp and you end up in an old Theravadan order, it might be useful to know this rule. Let's keep reading. 3 dots. If he thinks that it belongs to an individual, when it belongs to the order, 3 dots. with an upper part, there is an offense of expiation. If he thinks that it belongs to the order when it belongs to an individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he is in doubt as to whether it belongs to an individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that it belongs to an individual when it belongs to it, when what belongs to it? Oh, so this is only a rule for if you... Oh, never mind, okay. To another individual, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If it belongs to the individual himself, there is no offense. So if it's your lofty room, lofty cell or whatever, and it's your, like the partition, and you're the one with the chair, you own that chair, even though you're a monk, and it has, and you can sit down quickly and harm the other monk, and there's no offense because it's your own place. All right. I mean, a rule's a rule. There is no offense if he is in a cell that is not lofty. If he is in one that touches the head, yeah, that's not very lofty. If the one below comes to be not in use, that makes sense. You can break things and have them fall down there. There's nobody down there. It's no problem. If there comes to be an accumulation of boards, if a pin is provided, that means a pin or peg is inserted in a couch or chair whose feet are removable in order that the foot will not fall off when the seat or couch is sat upon. Reasonable, right? If standing on it, he takes down from or hangs up on, if he is mad, if he is the first wrongdoer. The eighth. There it is. Thank you all for going on this ride with me. Sometimes interesting. Sometimes anyway. Special thanks to the 17 monks, to the 6 monks, and to, of course, our special guest, Amitabha. I guess I'll go ahead and close now. If you have any thoughts, questions, feel free to comment below. And we'll continue with part 19 in the next episode. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Until next time.